Welcome to online video training for CTI's Janus Workbench software. This is Course 1, Part 6. Running on a remote target. Running time, 9 minutes. Let's get started. Running Workbench projects on a remote target is very similar to running them on the simulator, except an additional step is required: downloading the project. The steps are: setting an IP address on the target device. Select the project as a startup project. Ensure the remote target IP address is specified in project settings. Compile the program and verify there are no errors. Connect to the remote target. Download the project. And start execution. If your target device is a 2500p ACP1, there are 3 methods to set the IP address. Method 1 uses the web server, and can be used if the module already has an IP address, and is plugged into the network. Method 2 involves editing the ACP1.ini file on the SD card, and can be used if the module already has an IP address, but is not presently available on the network. Method 3 starts from a blank SD card, and can be used if the module has never been in service. To use Method 1, simply open a web browser. Then type in the IP address of the ACP1 module. Once the module web page comes up, click Module Configuration. Then on the configuration page, enter your desired IP address, subnet mask, and gateway. Then click Submit. You will need to restart the module using the Reset button on the front panel, to make the address change take effect. In Method 2, we'll edit the configuration file, which is located on the SD card, in the module. You'll need to power down the module, and remove it from the base. Then remove the SD card, and insert it into the SD card slot in a PC. Open a File Explorer, navigate to the ACP1 folder, then open the ACP1.ini file for editing, using Notepad. Find the address section of the file. Then change to your desired address, subnet mask, and gateway. Reinstall the SD card and power up the module. In Method 3, you'll start with a blank SD card. Make a folder, ACP1, on the card. Using Notepad, create a new file, and insert the lines for IP address, subnet mask, and gateway. Save to the file acp1.ini, in the ACP1 folder you created. Move the edited SD card to your ACP1 module, and power up. If your target device is a Janus processor, there are 2 methods to set the IP address. Method 1 uses the web server, built into the Janus processor, and can be used if the module already has an IP address. Method 2 places a file on the front panel SD card, which is read in, on power up, to set the IP address. This method can be used if the module has never been in service. To use Method 1, simply open a web browser. Then type in the IP address of the Janus processor. Once the module web page comes up, click Configuration, and then Network Settings. The Network Settings page allows you to configure the primary address, and up to 3 alternate addresses. Alternate addresses allow you to communicate on additional IP networks. It is not permitted to configure overlapping address subnets, or assign more than one IP address from the same subnet. The primary subnet IP parameters can be automatically obtained by DHCP, or statically configured by entering the IP parameters. DHCP is not recommended for operational use, since it is possible to receive different IP addresses from DHCP over time. When complete, click Apply, and the changes will take effect immediately. To use Method 2 to set the Janus IP address, first remove the processor from the base. Make sure module switch number 2 is set to the open position, and set module switch number 4 to the closed position. Obtain a blank SD card. Open the new file with Windows Notepad, and insert these lines, substituting your desired addresses. Save the file using the name cti.ini, in the root directory on the SD card. Install the SD card in the processor, and install the processor into the base. Apply power. The processor will display the code PPST on the front panel. If there are errors in the cti.ini file, the code PPER is displayed on the front panel. If there are no errors, the address is accepted, and the code PPDN is displayed. Now, power down and return switch 4 to the open position. Remove the SD card from the front panel, and reinstall the processor into the base. Once the IP address of the target is set, and it's connected to the network, we're ready to download our project. First, be sure the project you want to use is set as the startup project. Then right-click the project name and select Communication Settings. Be sure the IP address here matches the address of your target. Edit it, if needed. Next, if you've made changes to the project, compile it. Then click the online icon in the toolbar to connect to the target. What happens next depends on what project is presently loaded in the target. There are 5 possible scenarios. Can't connect to target. No project loaded in target. Project in target is different from the one open in Workbench. Project in target is same as the one open in Workbench, and same version. Project in target is same as the one open in Workbench, but different version. If Workbench can't connect to the target status display will show communications error. When this occurs, you should check and correct any network problems that are preventing communication with the target. If there is no project loaded in the target, you will get this message, showing there is no application, and asking if you want to download. Click Yes to proceed. If the project in the target is different from the one open in Workbench, the name of the project in the target is displayed. If you want to replace it, click the stop icon. The status bar changes to show no application running. Then click the download icon. A project downloads and the status bar shows stop. If the project in the target is the same as the one open in Workbench, and is the same version, the status display will show either run or stop, depending on whether the project is running or not. If the project in the target is the same as the one open in Workbench, but a different version, the download dialog box will come up. The box displays the version information of Workbench and the target, and gives you 3 choices to continue: stop and download, online change, or do nothing. Once you have successfully downloaded your project, you can start execution by clicking the Resume Cycle button. This is our conveyor project from Exercise 2B. Now that it's running, we can operate the conveyors. That completes Course 1, Part 6. Here's a summary of what we've covered so far. Introduction to Workbench in IEC 61131. Basic concepts of Workbench. Getting started programming in Workbench. Programming in ladder diagram. Programming in function block diagram. And running on a remote target.